We are live. Hey everyone, from the four corners of the internet, this is Kiss Corner. I'm your host, Art Thibert, and we have three other hosts here. We're all equal in this party. So we have Kevin Conrad, comic book fame. We have Scott Palacios, who's a great drummer, session guy, toured with a lot of different bands, and he's a sound mixer and a bunch of other stuff right now. How you doing, Scott?
I'm good.
And we have the great Taylor Grosso, writer, artist extreme, and she's here as well. So how you doing, Taylor?
How many of you in the chat want to get high? Hello, everyone. I'll be reading your chat today if you guys want to join the conversation. Thanks for the intro, Art. That was a good one.
Oh, you're brilliant. We're all brilliant.
We got people in the chat calling late. Thanks for joining us, you guys.
Yes, thank you. So what have you guys been up to?
Christmas,
Christmas shopping.
Right,
yes.
Right. Kevin, do you guys have snow? Are you snowed in?
No, we have it's actually about 55 degrees and raining pretty hard today.
God.
So we should have snow. We should be like in the 30s, and we're not. So
do you like the snow? I guess should be another question. Do you like that?
It looks nice, but I hate it actually. I don't know why I live here. My roots are so deep here. It's the only reason why I'm here.
Good Man, I should have added that image that we had we have an official Kiss chat. That image of all the guys in the snow.
Yes, the Christmas?
Yes.
My favorite one I just saw, I'd never seen, was the one with Ace Frehley laying face down in the snow. I don't know. I had never seen that. It's from the same shoot. It's from the same shoot, but he's just.
Is that really snow? Because I speculate not. Yeah.
No, I think it's a studio shot, but I've never seen that photo of him laying face down like that.
Yeah, me and Art were looking at it. We're like, I think that's a matte painting behind them.
Oh, the window and where they're standing in front of like French doors or something, or
no, they're just sitting in the snow, and then there's like these trees and stuff behind them, and it just looks like a backdrop of some sort.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
We should make that Ace image our next cover image for the next video.
Face down in the snow.
I don't know who posted. I think it's on that when 70s Kiss ruled the world. I think that guy posted it, I think.
You know why? You know why he's face down? Because he's snow blind.
Snow blind.
Whoa.
He can't see his way.
Can't see exactly.
Because he's in outer space.
That's where he came up with that song on that very shoot.
With his face down in plastic clippings or whatever those things are.
That can't be good to ingest.
Right.
I wouldn't put it past him for trying to, though. He's probably got some of those plastic pieces in his lungs somewhere.
Oh.
Among other things.
Okay. Well, you guys want to get on? We got a lot of stuff for you guys today.
We have a lot to cover.
Yeah, we have Kevin put the list together, the ultimate list from it's been 2 weeks, right?
It has been.
Yeah.
We've done the show. So 2 weeks ago, just to back up, let me get the list while I'm talking here.
So are these the crossovers?
Yeah.
Okay. The ultimate list.
Oh, this is the list, the master list. Okay.
I can explain my process with that if you like. Do you have it up? I'm trying to load up the YouTube page. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we have this. So is it shifted over now?
I see it.
Okay. So we have the Kiss Corner graphic.
And I believe it's the very last one because I think it's the last that I downloaded. Yeah, it's the one that has a weird name. There we go.
Strata. Oh man, look at that! I stole your love. I didn't think that was that high.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah, Black Diamond dominates.
Of course.
So Kevin, you want to explain how you put this together?
Yeah. I'm just now. Finally. Oh, here we are, live now.
May I mention one Easter egg that the font, which I think is the Kiss font, that
It is.
It's called Die Nasty.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize that it was a pun until like today.
Oh.
Die Nasty.
I can't find the list on my.
It didn't show up. It should be on the screen. No,
I can see it on the screen.
No, I see it on the screen. I was just trying to find it on my phone. I don't know why I can't see it, but I can see it.
Yeah. Kevin put it in the chat. In the chat, it should be there.
Let's see. Kiss Corner's Ultimate Top 10. Number following name original ranking in that list. Okay.
Yeah, so the numbers following the name are where they fell on everybody's list.
Okay.
I went by majority rules first. Okay. So the most songs within our top 10, not our cut, were the top ones. And if there was a tie, then I would bring, if there happened to be that same song that was cut on somebody else's list, I would bring it in to actually bring that up higher. So,
okay.
For instance, like number 10, Strutter, that was Art's cut, and Taylor had it as 9. I could compile with actually that was within our top 10. Each of our top 10 lists was 8 of them, because every one of them, the other ones were just all single.
That's why I think this is amazing, Kevin, that you were able to put this together, because it was kind of fragmented. Yeah.
Yeah. So
very clever.
The top 10 and top 9 are including cuts. So Strutter came in at number 10.
Okay.
With Art's cut and Taylor at 9. I Stole Your Love also was at 9 on Art's, so that was a tie. What put it at number 9 was the fact that it was also on Scott's and Taylor's cut list. So that put it above Strutter. Number 8, Parasite, I had it at 8. Art had it at 7. So you look at the the ranking there. So we got 15. So that's good there. We also had another ranking at 15 with Unholy with mine and Scott.
Yeah.
And to put that above Parasite, Unholy was also on Taylor's cut list.
I regret cutting that one.
Unholy?
Yeah, this list makes it feel right now.
I think I cut Unholy from my cut list.
You actually cut it from your cut list?
I cut it from my cut list, yeah. My cut list was longer than my top 10, by the way.
Good God.
Hard Luck Woman also came in with 2.
Yes,
from
you
the
made
top
it.
10.
Hey, Taylor, I'm fist pumping for you in the other room. Yeah.
Made the list.
Creatures of the Night at number 5.
Woman until she finds her man.
Yeah. So Creatures of the Night, number 5, clean. I had it at 1. Taylor had it at 6. New York Groove. Taylor had it at number 1. Art had it at number 5. So that
we did it, Art.
Yeah,
Taylor's all over this thing. She's like the wild card in this.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
He's not kidding around.
Do You Love Me? Again, Taylor had that 2. Scott had that at 1. So that brings that at the number 3 slot. Now, the only 2 songs that actually had 3 picks out of all of our 4 lists was Detroit Rock City and Black Diamond. So Detroit Rock City, you total up the rankings, the original rankings brings it to 19, and then Black Diamond, the original rankings brings it to 8. So Black Diamond is the number 1 Kiss.
Number 1.
I have to back up for 1 minute. Hey, Scott, why not Detroit Rock City and why not Black Diamond? What is?
But I thought we talked about like Detroit. It's the Hotel California of the Kiss. Like you can't.
Black Diamond is not the Hotel.
No, Black Diamond is
no. Maybe Detroit Rock. No. You said that about Rock and Roll All Night. I thought
that too. Yeah,
that too.
It's the Freebird. It's the Freebird of the Kiss catalog.
The Freebird in the Hotel California
of the Kiss catalogs. Yeah.
Ooh, Durakin in the chat says basically Taylor has better taste than everyone else.
No, I don't
actually,
honestly, I'm sorry. You look at the picks. Scott had 2. With 1 of those was a cut. I had 5. Art had 7 with 1 cut, and Taylor had 9 with 2 cuts.
Yes.
So I think I think there's some nepotism going on over there in our studio. That's all I got to say.
Well, I think what Taylor was able to do is she was able to bridge like our taste, because Kevin is more the latter stuff, like the later Kiss stuff, and I'm more early. And I think Scott can go back and forth. But I think, Scott, did you favor more the older stuff or the newer stuff?
No, I went more towards makeup.
Scott, yeah, Scott had a lot of deep cuts.
But they were weird. They were weird.
I
Love
think
them and leave them, and
yeah, I was surprised.
So Taylor was actually, she bridged the gap between the old and new, I thought.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Scott and I definitely had weird lists for sure, but in different ways.
I thought mine would be the weirdest, but apparently not.
Taylor bridged the gap.
So that's our ultimate list.
Yes, and we all have Kevin to thank for that. And then we have the most songs from each corner. You already summed that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin. This is an awesome list.
You're welcome. Yeah, I had fun, working on that.
Yeah, that was awesome. So
TC
I hope you guys...
says I'm the bridge builder. Oh, sorry.
I'm the bridge builder.
She's the bridge builder. Yeah.
Does Kiss have any songs that are even close to bridge building or wedging the gap?
I don't know.
Bridge. How about bridge tearing down? Isn't there a line about bridges in
not
War Machine?
I know the perfect song.
What?
Room Service.
Okay.
Room Service. That is not the perfect song for that. We're trying to be nice. That is not a nice song. That is a rude song.
Good God.
That's right up there with Lick It Up.
Hey, before we go on, can I just make mention of it? Because it sort of like was a light bulb in my head. Because when I posted this yesterday, one of my Facebook friends said he listens every time, but he would love to be able to comment. And I said, you can comment. You just have to have a YouTube account.
You can. Yeah.
And then you can comment in the chat. So I just want to make sure that if anybody's listening who's not in the chat, if you have a YouTube, and I have one, I'm looking at mine right now, I can comment right now, and my you'll never know who I am, but I'll just put a hey in here.
Are you Durakin this whole time?
I am Dak Radical. Dak Radical.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. So anybody can, as long as you got a YouTube account.
Yeah, join us in the chat for sure.
Yes, and feel free to be in the chat. Taylor will read your questions and things, and also like and subscribe, because right now YouTube is purging. I don't know what the heck's going on here, but we should probably have about 30 more subscribers, but we've been losing them every day. And from what I could tell, YouTube right now is purging, what is it, bots and
inactive accounts and what they consider bots. So I think everybody's losing subscribers. They're trying to kind of clean site, but I don't know. There's a lot of people who have been saying that their accounts have been wrongfully purged already. So
that and we're monetized now. So if you guys want to super chat, feel free to super chat, and and thanks to everybody that subscribed and got us to this point, because this site is now monetized. So that's cool. Yeah, thanks.
Cool, man.
Now let's get into the stages.
The stages.
Yes. This is great.
So how should we do this? Should we do this reverse alphabetical? So would that be me then first instead of Kevin?
Yeah, I think you and Taylor should probably go first.
Yeah.
I think it would be. Oh, okay. Because I think it would. If we went reverse, it'd be me, then Scott, right? Then Taylor, then Kevin. But
whatever.
Let's do it.
Cool. So we had a runner-up, and then we had what we absolutely loved, right? So each one of us have a runner-up stage, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start with mine, and I can't believe this is going to be a runner-up, but like I said, I am definitely from like Dynasty down. That's my Kiss, right?
That's your Kiss, yeah.
So just keep that in mind when I get to the stages. Okay, so holy sweet mother of stages! Look at this thing.
Wow.
What is that?
That is the Kiss stage, Taylor.
It's a monster.
Yeah.
It's coming from outer space.
That's pretty cool.
So I did actually. This is my first ever Kiss show. I saw these guys in Austin, Texas, with this stage setup, and this is the Spider stage. Is this? You guys are better at this than I. Is this their last tour before the one that they're going on now?
Is it Monster, Kevin? Is that what the stage was for Monster?
No, this was for Sonic Boom, I thought.
Was it really?
I'm pretty sure it was. But you know what? I think they used it. They used it for multiple years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Once you make that spider, you can't just
put it away.
Yeah.
Use that thing. Yeah.
That is pretty cool. I mean, I thought about that one myself. I do like that stage.
Huge.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago that my daughter and I saw Kiss in Texas, and this was the stage setup, and it blew. I'm not kidding. It blew my mind. I've seen some crazy S in my time.
That looks dangerous.
It does look dangerous.
Taylor, they have little handrails behind them on this. They actually do.
I would hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Gene and Paul were like strapped in somehow. Oh wait, maybe this is a better picture. No, these are all.
Look at
That
that.
thing looks huge.
It does look huge.
And Taylor, the drum riser, you can see it. It's like on some kind of scissor jack, and it's up behind them. And they had a big screen that fills in that whole spider shape. So the whole backstage behind the drum riser is a huge screen.
Look at all of those, like, look at all of those people, but that one guy's hand is perfectly in front of that smoke doing the metal horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the ultimate.
All those glowing cell phones. It's a pretty epic picture.
Yeah, that guy also is a giant.
He is. Look how high up that arm is.
Yeah.
Wow, he really is.
He's also,
because that's pretty high up.
Okay. Oh, this is a better resolution.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, the spider's shooting out.
They're singing Unholy
Steam.
for Kevin right now. Unholy.
Or Stanley the Parrot.
Durkin says because that's what I want to see in my nightmares.
Right.
A mechanical spider, yeah.
shooting high. I like to imagine it's hot steam, but it's just fog, I think.
Who knows what it is?
Yeah.
That's a little Tommy coming out there.
A little
but Taylor, you can see like this honeycomb shape in the back. That's a screen.
Look at.
Massive.
Do they ever? This is a really dumb question. Do they ever on top of the spider there? But the majority is performed beneath it, right? They're not just on that spider
the whole time.
I think they should just stay on the spider. Yeah.
That's how they start the show. They would come down from the top of the stage on the spider's back, and then it would drop all the way to the stage, and they would step off of it.
So they descend rather than ascending, because I thought they were just like ascending onto the spider.
Yeah. No, they would come down.
Okay, off to the right, like 4 rows up. That was me. Yeah, I was like 4th, 5th row, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, on Tommy's side. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
That's a good spot.
That is a good spot. I've never been that close. Wow.
Yeah, when Paul swung over, I could see his junk.
That's close.
Yeah, that's real close.
Those are some expensive seats if you're in the junk viewing area.
You know, Kevin will vouch for me. Like, this was all a fan. A fan invited me. He got the tickets. He set it all up. So my daughter and I were doing a show in Austin and set it all up. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, one of the benefits, the perks. Okay, so this is my runner-up. I can't believe I'm actually saying this is my runner-up. But here's my actual stage, and I don't know, man. Even when I see this stage to this day, I still geek out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's it, right?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Quintessential Kiss stage.
You guys are 1,500 miles, or what is it, 2,000 miles from me? It just popped up.
I don't think the internet works that way, Kevin, but
Everybody's like, wow, and just looking at a black screen.
Yeah.
Kevin's like, it's the same spider shot. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it. So, Scott, I think you were saying this is the Love Gun stage, because I always say it's just the Alive 2 stage.
Alive 2, Love Gun. Yeah, it was the theme. And actually, it's pretty close. If you look at some of the later shots of the Rock and Roll Over stage, like it kind of evolved really into the Love Gun stage. Like they changed a couple of things when they did the Japan dates for Rock and Roll Over. It looked more like the Love Gun stage. It sort of transitioned out of the Destroyer. The stairs were the illuminating stairs, and a lot of things you can tell where they were going with the production and stuff.
I remember as a kid that wall of speakers, and then you can't see it here, but they have like little round shapes on them.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind. I was like, how is that possible?
You're just going, holy crap! Oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah, they're a little pixelated, so sorry.
That's a great shot.
My gosh.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That drum riser's, that's
how high that is.
That's 20 feet in the air, right?
How high that thing is. Yeah, it's just
easily. Yeah, easily.
Look at the smoke is 20 feet high. Like, this is a war zone. This is a war zone.
It does. It looks like a war zone. Yeah.
Okay.
I just got to post point out Duraken's comment in the chat.
I was about to say. Yeah, Duraken likes the spider more. He said, you went from a giant mechanical spider to essentially a basic stage with a simple drawing in the center.
Yeah, I know. I can't describe it. It's just nostalgia. And I'll tell you, this is the comic book geek and all the other stuff in me. And I don't know if Scott ever saw this, because Scott and I hung out with each other since we were young. But I think this was when I was a lot younger. I actually built a miniature Kiss stage out of like balsa wood and scraps of whatever I could find. And I made Peter's drum kit and everything. I made like little I guess balsa wood guitars and everything. I built this whole stage, you guys. It was probably about 2 feet deep by like 3.5 feet wide.
That's pretty big.
Yeah. I did all the light rigging and everything, all the scaffolding. Yeah, I did all that stuff.
And there it is today.
Yeah, and back then all I had was the Alive 2. Like there was no internet, so I had just that shot,
one reference picture to
from the album.
One reference, exactly.
Yeah. So I built it all based on that. So I know this doesn't make any logical sense. It's just the kid, in me that goes Alive 2, or like Scott says, the Love Gun set.
It's also like a historic stage in history.
That's what you think of. Yeah. He kind of is,
Okay, so let's go, Scott. Let's see if I can find your photos here. So give me your runner-up.
My runner-up would have probably been, I'm going to go with the Rock and Roll Over set, the one you had up with them doing the sound check.
Is this it here?
That is. Oh, no, that's Destroyer.
Oh, this is Destroyer?
Yeah, you had the picture up. You had another picture up just a couple seconds ago.
Oh, it's the Alive 2 continue. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually the Rock and Roll Over stage. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does look real similar to the.
Yeah. The only difference is the drum kit. He hadn't used the gold kit yet. He still had the white kit from the Destroyer tour, and yeah.
Okay. So what was this one then that you sent me?
That's Destroyer.
Oh, I had that one listed as Rock and Roll Over.
I meant to put Rock and Roll Over. I think I might have sent both.
Oh, because it's got the cat statues on
Yeah. And the Destroyer stage, I liked it. Just always looked so cluttery to me. Like there was just with the which is cool. Like all the the rubble on because it personified the album cover. Obviously, all the crap, the wreckage and and stuff, and they use, you know, if you ever see like any bootlegs of those shows, I mean, the stage is it's a character all on its own. Like they use it. I'm actually shocked that there's people sitting behind on this shot. Yeah, I didn't know. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, that's a sign. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
I was just gonna say those are great seats, man.
Those I know. I didn't even know.
I would not want to be there.
That'd be kind of cool.
Especially in the top middle. I'd be super mad.
Oh my god!
All you see is the backdrop, and
behind the sign.
You can't even see the drums because there's a wall right
there.
there.
Exactly.
You can't see him at all. Yeah.
I got you tickets. They're right by the stage, and you're
exactly.
just like, really?
Right. Yeah, you're right by the stage, literally. Yeah.
I can't see around the eye.
You're right by the stage.
The best thing about this, though, is that you know that Kiss sold that arena out, because the only reason those seats behind the stage sold is because those kids couldn't get any tickets.
Anything else.
Oh.
Anything else. Yeah.
So Kiss last minute was like, we opened a bunch of tickets, a bunch of seats just opened up, and those kids are like, yeah, they're all behind the stage.
And then as an added note for the rock and roll, talking about the stage, on December 21st, the Rock and Roll Over tour actually wheeled into Philadelphia. They played the Spectrum on 1976, December 21st, Rock and Roll Over tour hit Philadelphia.
Wow, this day in history.
Yeah, in history with Bob Seger opening. Yeah.
Wait. Bob Seger opened for Kiss?
Yeah. Bob Seger was the opening act. Yeah.
What hit did he have at that time?
In 76, I'm gonna probably say
Beautiful Loser.
Like Kathmandu, or yeah, probably like Beautiful around that era. So pre Stranger in Town, yeah, Bob Seger.
So Bob Seger had bona fide radio hits, and he was opening for Kiss?
But that was the thing, and he opened for him on the Destroyer tour too, and that's one thing that Paul Stanley said, is that he felt like they had arrived when these bands that they thought were bigger than them were actually opening for them on these tours.
Wow, Taylor, you don't know. You know a little bit of Bob Seger because like his legacy has like a rock, those truck commercials.
That's right.
That's how he's most well known to me.
Yeah,
yes.
but yeah, the ripples, and then is it Turn the Page? What is the one?
Turn the Page. Metallica had a huge hit with.
Here I go.
Yeah.
Turn the page.
Yeah. Right.
So. Yeah, that guy was a huge radio guy. Like he was played on the radio constantly.
Yeah.
So for him to open up for Kiss, that's a big find for Kiss. Yeah.
Rhaegar says, "How old is Bob Seger?"
He's up there. He's like, I did see him. And he looks like, yeah, I mean, he's up there. Actually, he was, I think, doing like a farewell tour, and it got a lot of press, and all of a sudden it just kind of fizzled. Like he just didn't hear anything about it. But yeah.
I always thought like he was like the Kenny Rogers of rock. Bob Seger.
Right.
Like,
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Right. If you want something a little harder than Kenny Rogers, well, here you go.
Well, Kenny Rogers was huge, Taylor. Like that guy, he not only performed stuff himself, but he also wrote a lot of hit songs for other people. That guy was huge.
And
his chicken is delicious.
And his chicken, by the way, and his chicken is delicious. Exactly.
Remember when he like really sadly showed up on
Seinfeld.
No, was it Seinfeld? There's one really recently. He was on like a singing show. He showed up, and he had like a really bad facelift.
He's unrecognizable. No, he really is like almost unrecognizable now.
He went from like old grizzled cowboy to like creepy grandpa.
Creepy plastic grandpa. Yeah, like grandpa guy. Yeah.
The
he
thing
makes
is,
the chickens from scratch, says Rhaegar.
The thing is, if you're gonna hide half your face with a beard, who cares at that point, right?
I know. What's the point?
Come on, ZZ Top got it. They got it early on, right?
Just own it.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought like ZZ Top, they always looked like old men, and so did Jethro Tull. So I was like, when those guys got older, you're like, yeah, so what? They've always
looked like that. Yeah. Dusty and kind of old. And yeah, they always look like that.
Okay. So Scott, you're actually going to boggle my mind with your top your top choice, but go ahead. What's your top stage?
I was gonna say Love Gun, but this stage is so close. I really like the Dynasty stage. No, Tag. I have a reason. I saw that tour. I thought the stage was just. I like how open it was, and technologically, like that stage broke so much new ground with technology. It was the first tour that they ever utilized wireless technology for one. That was a biggie. None of the amplification or anything was visible. You know, it was all underneath or hung, and I thought that was cool. It was just such a clean stage, and it's also the Kevin, the unmasked stage as well. But I always thought it looked cooler with Eric's kit.
Yeah,
it looked it looked cool with the big double kick kit. But it's just a cool looking stage. I just remember seeing them on the, and just being blown away when looking at the stage. And then of course they came from underneath. They rose up slowly, which I thought was just me and my brother just going, whoa. We weren't sure if that was actually them or like they were mannequins and they were gonna come running on or something. But when they started to move, I thought, oh, cool, cool. It's really cool. We were close enough to be able to see them pretty good on the Dynasty. The Anaheim show when they played Anaheim. But
the thing I don't was this in the round, because there's like another side of the stage.
Oh no, it was. Okay. Yeah, it was completely. There were people. Well, again, I've said for the Anaheim show, it was really thin. It was real thin, but you can see in this shot, there's people sort of interspersed in the back there. But it was very open. It was very open, and the sign seemed like it was high enough to where it really didn't obstruct anything. And I just think it looked cool. It just did. It looked really cool. I just thought it was a clean, and just you could just see them. And they used it a lot. Like they, ran around quite a bit to the back. I remember Paul singing from on top there, the little up there by the drums. And it was really cool.
Yeah, I can see the backstage now. I didn't notice it at first.
Did the drums
seats back there?
Yeah, there's two things. Did the drums they spun, right?
No, it just moved forward. Like the Love Gun, it moved forward during the solo, and the rise. It did the same thing. It elevated, just like with the Love Gun stage.
Did the stage spin itself? Like
no.
Yes did? Okay.
No.
So if you were in the back of the stage, you were still kind of the back of the stage.
Yeah, you're in the back. Yeah, you're still in the back.
So you didn't get to see him play the drums. Like all you saw was the gong. Even though that gong stand, that thing looks amazing.
Look at that. It's like a samurai sword.
Yeah. Hey, okay, since you're the kissologist, why is there like a rail on the back part of the stage?
Probably so they don't fall off. Yeah.
There were ramps back there that they would walk down below, because if you look to the right on that photo, you got to see they got that whole standoff there where they could actually go to the side, stage left and right.
Yeah.
So they could basically just carouse that whole area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember for New York Groove, Gene and Paul were up by the drums doing the background, and Ace was, of course, center stage.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you could see Peter actually going down into his little hole there.
Where he belongs.
Where he belongs. Back down there.
Because he's not even on the drums right there, right? He's like coming out or something.
No, he looks like he's either walking back down, like they're
He's gonna hit that gong.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hit that gong.
He's got his stand-in drummer there.
I think we have one more shot of this stage. People in the chat were saying that it doesn't look that epic because the lighting. There we go.
Yeah, we found this one. It's a little bit.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I was made for loving you,
baby.
Ace has the weird shattered mirror pieces in this one.
Yeah.
The costumes I wasn't crazy about for the tour.
Well, definitely. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
I love Gene's and I love Ace's costumes.
You do for the Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, for the Dynasty, for sure. Ace's I thought was really, really cool. I didn't care for Paul's or Peter's, but Gene, man, he looked like Godzilla. I loved all that organic look.
I'm sure you know, Kevin, too, that his costume changed from early on in the tour. It was just more like rhinestones. Early on, it wasn't big rocks. It was more like more just in rhinestones on black, and I don't know. At some point, it became the rocks. But they're cool. They are. I mean, they're larger than life. Actually, I saw some footage yesterday of Gwar, and
I was about to mention that.
It reminded me of Gene's costume. Yeah, I thought, oh my god, that looks like Gene's Dynasty. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, this is going to be odd, but that suit or the costume that Gene has here looks the best covered in blood. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. It looks pretty badass.
I don't know if you guys have seen. I think it's still on YouTube. I got to find it. But there was it was debatable whether it was a skit or if it was like real. I think it was real, but there was a cover band and all the guys in the band dressed up as Ace, like different versions of Ace. And there was one, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the one guy, like they had him for like an aside interview and he talked about how he always wanted to be the Dynasty Ace. But but the rest of the band wouldn't have it, and they were like making fun of him.
So which Ace was he? What was he?
I think he was. Oh God, I don't remember which one he was, but I just remember he was like, yeah, you know, Dynasty Ace had a beautiful cape, and he had the mirror shards, and his costume was like so amazing, and he was like, and I wish I could do that. Like he looked at it with like such reverence. It was very sweet.
I wish I could do that. Yeah, I wish I could.
Well, I'm gonna make a comic book joke, but you know they all had capes, but apparently no capes for the stage.
Yeah. Oh God.
They'd be tripping over them and getting caught and stuff.
Got to toss them into the audience.
I've seen them play with them.
They opened on the Dynasty. Ace had the cape, like when they come out. He has
they just come out with the capes, but they don't. That
until
not the whole show. Oh God.
Until that fateful day. Stuck on a dragon or something.
Yeah,
that's not a real.
Taylor, you're bleeping out. Did you guys hear what she said?
I didn't.
No.
What'd you say, Taylor?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I had to adjust my mic. Sorry. I said until that fateful day that one of their capes got stuck on a prop or something.
Oh God!
The drum riser and it dragged them up. Ah!
Oh, that would be great.
And then after I said that's not a real story, don't go spreading that around.
No, please do, and tell them that you heard it on Kiss Corner. This is how you get hits, Taylor.
I wish that somebody had filmed like some of the dress rehearsals of them just getting used to the stuff. I don't know. Again, I think it was that guy, the 70s Kiss Ruled the World, posted that picture of Ace in the costume, but he's not wearing any of the makeup. I'm assuming it's a sound like they're probably doing like dress rehearsals.
We got to get that guy on the show because I don't know where he's getting half
I
of
don't
these
know where
pictures.
he gets all these photos. I know he's got these great photos of like sound checks and tour rehearsals and
like I've never seen those photos anywhere other than that group.
Exactly.
Okay, so should we get to Taylor's?
That's my
top. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm changing which one I like last minute.
Uh-oh.
So my runner-up is the Alive 2 Love Gun stage, which I think
let me see if I can find that. Okay.
Think is on everybody's list at this point.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not supposed to say yet.
So that's
spoiler alert.
That's my runner-up. But I think my favorite might be the Hot in the Shade stage.
Oh, the Sphinx.
Oh, you should have heard her bagging on this day, you guys.
Because from this angle, it looks very apish. But then
it does. Actually, it does.
Like it reminded me of Omak from Legends of the Hidden Temple. But then there's like another picture where it has like full-on pyrotechnics, and you see it from another angle, and it looks really cool.
This was a slow burn for you, right, Taylor? This was a slow burn.
Yeah, I had to search my feelings yesterday about it.
That drum kit looks amazing, though. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It does. The whole setup's cool.
It's a great set, and that was a great tour.
It was.
The set list was phenomenal on that tour. They were getting back to back to being the Kiss that you hoped, that they would be.
And then Ridley Scott copied the stage setup for Prometheus.
Or Prometheus.
Oh.
Put a couple pods in front of it.
Yeah,
It looks like that head.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It's like eerie and otherworldly, and then there's like one more picture. That one, look at it. Sparks shoot out of its eyes.
Shoot out of the eyes, yeah.
I think one of you guys posted. You know what? That is the best stage.
Yeah. That's my pick. I mean,
my picture.
No, you're not supposed to.
Show's over.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin.
We got Kevin's. All right, you guys. It's been real. I do have to ask you, Kevin. Are those bass drums like they're double wide, deep, right?
Yeah, they're double deep. Yeah.
What size are those? Are those like 24s or?
They got to be 24 and 32 deep, maybe.
I was going to say it's like exactly. They have to be at least 32 deep.
Yeah.
Those are cannons.
Cannons. I know. Yeah. That was a great kit. That is a great kit.
Yeah,
and he's got his little electronic drums way up there.
Top, I know. He's just covered. It's just such a cool kit.
Do you see that one that looks like a stop sign? It's like extra high. It's right below the Sphinx's lips.
The lips. Look at that thing.
Man, Kevin, I thought for sure you were gonna pick the creatures.
Well, I'm not done yet. We haven't got to
be done. Yeah.
Kevin's gonna change his too.
Like I think if I wanted to see them perform, let's maybe decide. That. Yeah, I'd be like, I want to see that stage with the exploding eyes.
I want to see that whole head blow up.
I have a question for Kevin, since you already said that's your favorite. All right, that or the Alive 3 stage?
Well, I have not said this is my favorite. What I meant was that's my pick. That was my picture.
Oh, it's not your okay.
I have not said it's my
photo.
Favorite. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Alive 3 was great too with the Statue of Liberty. I thought of that one.
Great.
Stage. All right, you guys. The show's not over. Kevin's still got some. So Taylor, your runner-up was Kiss Alive or the Love Gun stage, and so now your Creatures is your top.
This Hot in the Shade.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, Hot in the Shade. Yeah.
Hashtag Hot Sphinx.
Awesome.
Hot Sphinx. Oh, and by the way, one of them got their cape caught in the mouth, and urban legend. That's not Paul. Paul was killed at that moment in time.
At the end of every show, there's a rocket at the bottom of its head.
Get it? Paul is dead. The Beatles thing. Or was it? No, yeah, it was Paul.
It was.
Paul is dead.
Yeah, Paul is dead, yeah.
That's that weird. Yeah. We listened to something about that where there's like a weird conspiracy theory about that, right?
He died in the 60s and it's actually been somebody else, the whole time.
And some guy has this whole thing and it's almost plausible. Almost.
It was interesting, I thought.
Yeah.
It is.
So this isn't the real Paul Stanley here in this shot. This is the
Paul McCartney.
This is Paul McCartney.
He left and joined Kiss.
And no one would know, except for the fact that they took their makeup off at this point.
See, we'll never actually know.
I'm confused. Let's go to Kevin.
All right,
here we go.
I had a hard time with, I know what, ultimately my top pick was, but I got to give an honorable mention to the Creatures of the Night stage.
So it's a great stage. That cannon looks amazing.
I see that in the tabs there. If you could just pull up the Creatures, the shot. Hopefully you use the one I gave you. They're all
Sabaton.
Look at
on the turret with them. Yeah, I know it's small, but
that thing.
That was just so
That's
cool.
The one.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Just like and the whole thing they had the tracks,
turret, like
the turret, and then they had the tracks coming out. It was just there we go. That was actually a nice one too. This is honorable mention for me. I loved this era of the band. I loved that stage.
Did you see that stage on the tour? Did you actually see that?
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Comic Book Bob says, "Hell yeah!"
But look at how big that. Look at it. It's cool.
It is very cool. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, have you ever seen the Sabaton drummer?
I don't know that I have.
They totally copied this.
They did.
Yeah,
Did they really?
it looks more authentic, like a real tank. You know, it's not like
Right.
this science fiction tank. Actually, this looks kind of Jules Verne with the rivets and stuff, like steam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that one up.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But
But
this
yeah, that one was cool.
is awesome. So did this move up, like forward and then up as well?
It just moved out and turned and blasted stuff out.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't rise up like out
Peters?
into the air.
Okay.
It just I could almost picture guys behind it pushing it to the front.
Pushing it forward.
But that might have very well been the case. But I never saw that. But I mean, it just looked really cool. I just thought it was a really cool concept.
Yeah, it is.
And the gun barrel moves up and down too, right?
Up and down,
Yeah.
yep. And
Yeah.
It would fire as well. So this reminded me a little bit, honestly, of the Dynasty stage, and everything was so low profile.
Yeah.
There wasn't
Yeah.
anything really big behind it.
Not a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But I did love it. I got a special place for it. But my runner up is actually the Hot in the Shade.
Okay.
That
Thanks. Yeah.
that was probably like Scott, like you said too, that was one of the best concerts I think I've ever seen.
No, they're just on fire. I mean,
they opened with I Stole Your Love.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. They were
Which was
great.
really cool.
I mean,
long 23 songs. Something
and you
like
saw.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish I had seen them. I mean, I have the obviously a lot of people do the Auburn Hills show, the Michigan on that tour, and it is just such a great show. Like I never get tired of watching that show. It's just great set list. The energy is amazing. The crowd is just going insane.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And it's funny, Taylor, you mentioned like Ridley Scott ripped this off, because this actually kind of reminded me a little bit of, not so much a Sphinx, but they had all the catwalks and everything. They're all wrapped in this like, tubing and water dripping out of it and stuff. It just had a very alien look to me.
You did.
And I really didn't like that.
Yeah.
Well, no one's pointing out the obvious here.
What?
This is a rip-off from Angel.
What? How?
Oh,
They had the big face, and it looked like a Sphinx because it had that same triangular shape there.
Yeah. Keep in mind that big face they had was probably maybe 8 feet high. They walked out of the mouth of this.
They did. It would open up.
Okay, so it's bigger.
Yeah. It's huge.
Okay.
It's huge.
Wait, and there's a guy. I think that's Greg Giuffria on the left behind.
On fire.
You're right. Oh my god.
And what was cool about this too is like during God of Thunder was the first time I ever saw it live, where they during the I Am the Lord of the Wasteland, modern day, it went with that whole thing, and that thing's mouth opened up and the lasers were going off in the mouth, and it was that thing speaking that phrase.
That's right.
And it sounded absolutely demonic. It was so
that real deep thing. Yeah, that's right.
So
that's amazing.
Says, like, I'm the Lord of the Wasteland, modern day Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, it's better than Angel.
People in the chat are comparing it to Iron Maiden.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Power Slave, like the whole Power Slave. Yeah. Kind of, but not as big. The Kiss one, I think, is bigger.
But also, Iron Maiden did that much later, didn't they?
Oh God, yeah. I think no. Power Slave was before Hot in the Shade.
Okay.
So who did
it better, right?
Who made who and who did it better? Yeah.
Well, Kiss definitely did it bigger.
Oh, it's definitely. Look at that.
That's big.
That's enormous. Yeah.
We should have grabbed the Angel one for comparison, because now I'm curious.
Art, I'm sure you have an Angel picture.
Another one somewhere.
Living close somewhere.
That is a show for another time.
85-ish.
Well, there you go. A comparison. Angel Kiss.
Well, it just goes to show you that the power of the Sphinx, that graphic, is just used constantly. Yeah.
It needs sunglasses.
So that's my runner-up, and unfortunately, Durakan's going to be disappointed with my top pick too, because, and again, it's as like Art, you said it too. It's like nostalgia, but the Love Gun stage, that was my first Kiss concert. I was like 17 years old, and to see these guys rise out on these risers on either side. You come up above the audience. That photo right there doesn't do it justice. I mean, that's nice, but that's not even the gatefold of the Alive 2 album. I mean, the Alive 2 album is really a bombastic shot of it. God. And that, to me, man, that was just like, that was my indoctrination to Kiss live.
Yeah.
Alive 2 stage, and I've never been the same since.
Yeah, or anybody that hasn't seen, I mean, anybody on YouTube, look up the Houston show on the Love Gun Tour, Houston '77, and I like the Hot in the Shade show. I just marvel every time I see. I've seen it a million times. It still just blows me away.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back in time. What is this? 77?
What is
78?
Yeah.
78. Yeah. Right? 78, Scott? I mean, because
the Can-Am tour was 77.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you guys think this way, but those risers that the three are on, and then that drum riser, there has to be some kind of footing for those, because there has to be counterweight system. There has to be those things have to be firmly planted for those to move around like that, because they jut out, right? They don't just go up, but they also come out.
Well, they
the
came
crowd,
out
right?
Yeah, they came out on an angle over the crowd. But you know what
Yeah.
those are? If I remember reading, it is a the things that contractors use, it basically is a little vehicle that's on 4 rubber wheels, and it's got the thing with the cage.
Yeah.
That they can rise up to do painting on walls,
That's
like
what
in
it is.
buildings.
That's
exactly what it is. And they're sitting under the stage, and it just drops down to stage level.
Those
they just
things must
modified the top.
Yeah, those things must weigh a ton.
So there's a guy under the stage with a cup of coffee and a hard hat, with a tool belt, and he's just driving he's got a Kiss logo on his hard hat, and yeah.
I have a question, since you guys are all drummers, and it feeds into the chat as well, because Draken keeps pointing out that the drummer is always super far away on the stage, and he says, "Look how far away the drummer is on that stage. It's either trying to get away from them." Is there a reason, like, because you guys play drums, that the drummers place so far back?
It's because of the equipment. It's the size of the drums is always big, so you can't put it in the front because everybody be tripping over it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's a.
And he moved forward, during the solo.
Right.
But yeah, it moved out so that he'd get his due. But Kevin, I got to ask you, were you disappointed that when they did the reunion in '96 that they didn't resurrect that stage?
No, I wasn't disappointed. What I always liked about Kiss is I always looked forward to what ideas they were going to come up with.
The next thing, yeah.
And they were always saying, "No, it's the best stage ever," and then it's like, "Holy cow, that's not true." In some cases,
Yeah.
But I got to agree with Art with that Spider stage is probably one of the most ingenious. Now, I've read some things. Have you guys read anything about the upcoming farewell stage?
I haven't heard anything about what they're gonna do.
Yeah, there is.
Other than the hologram thing.
Yeah.
What hologram thing?
Eric Carr.
Right. That's a rumor that I hope is actually true.
That would be cool. I think that would be mind blowing.
But they've actually they're developing this thing now, and they all went on. The whole band went to check out how this thing was doing. Because they're doing production now for the stage and stuff. And there was a photo online.
What?
Of them standing on in the arena where they were building the stage, and there was a nice write up from the guy that actually went to witness. I can't give away any spoilers, but he, man, if I can find it, maybe we can save that for another show. And I'm a Facebook friend with this guy, as I'm sure you are, and Art, you as well.
Oh my God,
Taylor, maybe you too, with a bunch of Kiss fans, that are so close. It's like a Kiss family. So I've got some people who are pretty close to the actual Kiss group, that have some inside. I want to say inside information, but
Interesting.
Well, we could definitely revisit this. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about production-wise, if they're gonna do an amalgam of all the stages, or maybe I thought, or a little just almost like the Unplugged, where there was just stuff, like the stage had the Rock and Roll Over logo on it, and maybe things like that. I haven't heard anything about it.
Let me see where the Kiss All Eras group chimes in on this, because we posted the video there and where they can say their favorite stages.
Yeah.
So let's see. Creatures of the Night tour stage.
Cool.
Love Gun. The Tank. Now I think won this thread because most people liked the Tank stage.
Which is awesome.
And Dave said, so many, but the Tank tour was cool for being bare bones. Rock the Nation, Hot in the Shade, and he said the Spider stage was really cool, but it was too big for the lots of the venue, so they couldn't use the platform.
That happens a lot with a lot of Kiss stages. I mean, they're playing here at Saratoga Performing Arts Center in the summer, and they had the Spider stage there when they played there, but the stage is pretty small. It's an amphitheater. It's an outdoor amphitheater, and the Spider never came down. They actually walked on stage because it was just too small of a stage for everything to operate properly.
Wow.
But that happens. It's but it still was pretty cool.
Are they doing more outdoor venues? Because when I saw the Spider stage, it was outdoors as well.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was an amphitheater.
Wow. I saw the Forum with that, and they came down on the Spider.
Yeah, the Forum is a pretty massive. Though. Yeah.
Ooh.
I found the friend, and I found the write up. The guy's name is Keith LaRue. He has something to do with the Kiss stage, I believe.
With production? Oh, okay.
Yeah, with production, and he had a nice write up.
Wow.
There's a photo of the band with him.
Wow.
In the arena where they were checking out, but it was really an interesting read. It was pretty long.
Can you see any of the stage in the photo?
No.
Unfortunately,
you can't.
Oh man.
But it's a very long read. And he just talks about his day with Kiss.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Nope, we got echo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pull this away.
So
let's see. Christ Energetic says, "Hey Kevin, are you a Saratoga area native? My family is from there."
I'm 20 minutes south of Saratoga.
Oh,
close enough.
Close enough. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I was getting a little bit of echo.
No, that's fine.
Okay, well, you guys want to shift a little bit and get into the Paul Stanley book?
Yes.
Let's let Taylor drive for a while. You got the wheel, Taylor.
Okay, so we all listened to disc 2, I hope.
I did.
Of the audio book with Paul reading.
Yeah.
That was chapter 9 through 13 is on disc 2?
I thought it was 6.
Yeah, it was 6, I believe.
Started at 6, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With the story about the dad. And
yeah, the story opens with Paul having a run-in with his dad, who I think's been drinking.
Yeah.
Having an emotional outburst.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because the way Paul writes, he sort of he writes like his thoughts in italics. So everything he says seems kind of sarcastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it opens with just like, like I woke up to my dad like crying. Then he's just like, geez, I'm your kid. Like, I don't want to have to deal with your issues. He writes it like in italics, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. So he talks a little bit about his, I guess childhood, because he was like 15. And talks about some of his upbringing and discovering, I don't even want to say girls, because he starts like straight up dating women. I don't think he ever dates a girl his own age when he's like 15. And he talks about not being really able to relate to people and writing music. And it's really weird because like even though he's very arrogant, I was really impressed by how much stuff he did at that age because they follow him up to. I think those chapters follow up. They already had Wicked. They touch on him meeting Jean, and they form Wicked Lester, and they get a contract. And I think they're still 17, aren't they?
They were.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were that young, but they were pretty young, right?
they were pretty young.
Because he was
Yeah.
talking about going to college and stuff, which is like they managed to get a contract and do a lot of stuff for being that young. But I think the biggest part of the chapter that I want to hear your guys' thoughts on is when he first met Gene and how he describes him. Because he describes him as he's like he basically says that he was very overweight and he was wearing overalls and looked like a part of the cast of Hee Haw at the time. So he basically talks massive crap about him and how like he always thought that he was like a superior musician, and I forget how he was introduced to him. I think in the chapter it's like a friend of a friend tells him like, yeah, I know a guy that can play guitar.
He was the Steve Cornell guy, I think, that introduced them.
Yes.
Yeah, he introduced them. And then he automatically just puts Gene in this category of like, well, he was an only child, so he didn't really like to collaborate. And talks a little bit about Gene's mom because I guess it's really weird because he writes about it like as if Gene's family had money, which they might have, but in Gene's book they sounded pretty middle class.
Yeah.
Well, I think Paul was jealous because Gene seemed like he had a good home life, and he
Paul
didn't.
didn't. Yeah, he was tough. Yeah.
His mom loved him.
Yeah, it definitely comes out because he basically says that like his mom worshipped everything he did, and my parents didn't care about anything that I did.
No.
Did anybody else get the impression that Paul? You know what? I don't think his home life was all that bad. I mean, I just think.
Is it his perception? It's just his perception of it.
I felt the same way. Like the scenarios that he describes, like I know that he talks about his sister getting to like addiction and stuff, but his parents were both together and they were working. It sounded like they were doing the best they could. They were trying to help put him through college and stuff. So how bad could they really be?
Yeah.
And they were actually like, he always talks about them like in a very disparaging way. Like there's that part where he talks about the draft, but they were like more invested than a lot of people's parents.
Yeah, exactly.
In his life.
The weird thing is, if you think about everything in the book, like Paul Stanley, I don't know him personally or anything, but he definitely, at least in the book, because they sensationalize things, but he seems like he focuses on all the negative. Like everything, like
for sure,
like everything. It's like, oh yeah, it could have been like based on perception. He could have said, my family was very, very supportive, and the band members were this, that, and the other thing. But instead, it's like he points out all the bad qualities.
Yeah.
So I think, is that a perfectionist quality as well? Like somebody that's always striving, so they find all the faults and everything, and so maybe he's wired that way. So his go-to is always going to be the more negative aspects.
Right.
The thing about him too is like because I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have read the other band members' books, but somebody in another video talked about how reading the Kiss books is really interesting because they're all talking about similar events.
Oh yeah, and it's all their different accounts of sort of the same event.
It's kind of like different gospels. At some point, you just need to decide who you want to believe.
Who knows which one's true? Yeah.
But like this early chapter is mostly about his life, and it kind of captures, like Art said, like the tone of how he's going to tell all of his stories because they're extremely negative.
Yeah, they all go the same way. Like there's seemingly there's something cool that happens, but there's just a negative spin on it.
Right.
And he blames absolutely like everyone else for anything that happens. Like, did you guys hear the part about he was talking about how this also gives you a sense of like how long ago this was. He was afraid of the draft.
Right.
Rightfully so, but he was trying to find a way out of the draft, and this is why I kept forgetting how young he was, because he was like 15. I'm like, wow, he was really like looking into this, and he was going to the doctor and trying to basically find ways that he could not be drafted.
They didn't have an ear.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He didn't even think about that because he comes home and tells his family, like, you guys, I don't have to be drafted because my back. And his mom and dad are like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, like, you can't be drafted. You're deaf in one ear.
You're deaf in one ear. What are you talking about?
And he gets mad at them. Thanks for never telling me.
Yeah,
Another
exactly.
10 points for my parents. I'm like, you couldn't figure that out. I think it was weird that they weren't concerned about the draft at all. It's like, yeah, because they knew. Like,
they're not going anywhere. Yeah.
But just like stuff like that established early on just gives you like the perfect picture of who he is, I think. And they have like this whole I'm trying not to overly dominate with this because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, but they have this really weird thing that happens in that disc where he looks back with fondness on hanging out with adults and somehow doesn't think that that makes the adults seem like kind of strange for wanting to hang out with a 15-year-old.
Is that the people that own the head shop that he goes over there and hangs out with them?
Yeah, and then like he slept with the guy's wife.
Oh,
and
I didn't.
Yeah, he talks about it like, oh, I was 15 and I would hang out with these adults, and I was like, you're still looking back on this and not thinking how weird it. I can't even imagine hanging out with a 15-year-old now, and I'm in my 20s. Like if I was hanging out with a 15-year-old boy, my family would be like, what are you doing? And then they're hanging out with them as a couple. Like, what the heck? And he talks about it like it's cool.
That's weird.
It is really odd.
I know it.
I thought that was weird. And the Donna Dixon stuff, I thought was because he just desperately tries to hold on. Like, she doesn't sound like she's that into him.
That was my favorite part of the book, actually. For those of you that don't know, he was, and me and Art talked about this because I didn't know who she was.
Oh, you didn't? She was huge. She was a big star. Yeah.
And I didn't realize how like attractive she was because he was really hanging on to her, and she was not biting. She was not interested in him.
She just sounded like she just wasn't into him. Yeah.
And he was like talking about how he's all in love with her. But his framing of how he was in love with her was even strange because he says like, oh, like I knew I was in love with her because when I walked into a room, I felt like really cool for being seen with her.
That's him. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like it's him. I felt cool.
And he said, and then of course, he finds out that I think early on she mentions Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, when they're shooting the movie, and he's a genius. Yeah,
and he's just like, I don't know about that. And then of course later
he says that sounds like a stretch or something. Yeah.
Later they get married. Yeah.
Yes, and he was jealous of him. Like he couldn't figure it out, and he writes it in this really strange way. Like they weren't really dating, and he was on tour, and he said he started talking to her again. And then she was like, oh, let's meet up. And I was thinking, like, I think she means as friends. And then, of course, he finds out that she just got married to Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And he feels so betrayed. Like, how could she talk to me when she was with that whole time?
The thing that's so weird about, like, you get the feel more in Paul's than, and I just got a highlight of the other books, but that there's zero, like, self-awareness. Like, okay, even though Dan Aykroyd is like a clowny, like stand-up, comedian, but he is genius. I mean, he created Ghostbusters. He's a screenwriter. Like he created like major iconic things that are in the very fabric of Americana. But and then you flip side that and you go, well, Paul was partially responsible for Kiss as well. Mm-hmm. But if you were a girl, okay, you're a woman, and you're going like, well, there's this guy that plays guitar in clown makeup and blows shit up, or there's this guy that's making cool movies and cracks me up, and he's all these other things. I think you would probably go, I don't know. I think Dan Aykroyd's a better choice.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd seems cool.
And also, like he's also there. Like Paul's on the road. Like it's just not a great choice for like a boyfriend / husband. I think
I would definitely pick Dan Aykroyd over Paul Stanley.
Hell, I would too. Oh, I want to ask you, since we're talking about all the the book deals and stuff. Okay, you know how they did Dynasty, and then they all got their solo albums at the same time. Is there still, okay, I'm theorizing here, is there still an overall arcing Kiss management that is still choreographing these guys' existence as a 4-person unit? Because this is really weird that all these books came out around the same time, and like Taylor says, they all kind of have similar accounts of the stories. They kind of work together in a weird way.
Not just that, but the art direction of the books, they look like a set of books when you put them all together. And I know if you're a designer and someone said design a kid, use black, white, and red, you probably use similar fonts, but they all look so similar. They look like a series.
Wow, I'm sure it's, I don't know, Kevin, I don't know what you think too, is if it was orchestrated. I mean, Doc McGee, has been managing them for several years, and I don't know, he seems pretty smart. I don't know how much he had to do with any of that and the marketing of the books.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much animosity between those guys.
Between the four, anyways, you don't need somebody to orchestrate it.
Yeah, I think, really, probably, one heard one was doing a book, so they all
I'm gonna write a book. Yeah,
and they all tried, and they all pretty much came out roughly around the same time because of that.
Are they all with different publishers? Are they all with different publishers?
I don't know. Do you know, Kevin? Are they?
I don't know for a fact. No, but
I know that Paul's came out last. His is the latest, I believe, or is it Ace's that's the last? I'm pretty sure Paul's was the last one that came out.
Paul's, because his thing was, okay, now here's the real story. I remember when his was coming out, okay, now you've read the other ones, now here's what really happened.
Yeah, and basically each book, as they go, is just them. It started with Gene talking crap about Peter, and then Peter made his book to be no, I'm gonna talk crap about them. And Ace's book doesn't seem like he really cares as much.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He kind of it's really weird because Ace owns up to his stuff the most.
Yeah.
He's just I was doing dumb stuff. I was super high all the time in a bad place.
He wrote it
who knows
himself. Yeah.
Well, you know why else? I think Ace is on a what do they call that? The program, the Alcoholics Anonymous, because he talks very spiritual too, very, very religious. So I think one of the 9 steps is that you have to acknowledge, the truth.
Yeah.
So so you have to own up to what you did. So his book and the way he talks, I heard an interview with him as well, and he talks I'm not sure that he is in Alcoholics Anonymous, but he definitely talks like he's in some kind of is it 5-step, or is it how many step programs?
12. I think it's a 12.
12-step programs. Yeah.
He definitely does.
The way he talks, the way he speaks.
Yeah, the way he talks now in interviews now. Yeah.
He takes a lot of responsibility.
Recently, he's said a couple things in a couple recent interviews over the past week where he fired his band
for sobriety,
Richie Scarlett, because of the sobriety. Yeah. Because and then in that same interview, I think he said something now. He does not blame Gene or Paul, for the same problems they had with him, and he actually says he's sorry that he put them through that.
Aww.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gearing up to bring him back, I bet.
Well, I think it's part of that 12-step. I think that he's definitely trying to clean up his act, because he's probably also a guy that's really faces mortality right now, because these guys are all pushing.
They're not young. Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah.
The weirdest part of the book too, in general, Paul Stanley's book, but also in Gene's book, from the very get-go of introducing Ace and Peter as a character, they basically say how horrible they were. And it's they never contributed anything. There's I don't even know. I wish I could do a compilation of cutting that audiobook of how many times Paul said Ace did nothing.
He does say that. He says that several times. No, he says, because even though they contributed, it never amounted to anything.
Ace did nothing. He says that all the time. And the thing is, it's like you hired them. Like him and Gene were already together, and they he goes from like they hired them to basically saying that they didn't contribute anything.
Yeah.
And that somehow like we always wanted to pretend and put out there like we were the Beatles, we were all equal contributors, but
That's a great. I did just read that. Yeah.
but in reality like they didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, in reality, they did contribute, and each one in their own way. Maybe they didn't contribute to the same extent that Paul and Gene did, but they had gems, and they had when they stood out big.
Yeah.
And brought a lot back to the band, because I think Ace gave them rock and roll credibility, which I still to this day swear that they wouldn't have had without him in the early days. And Peter, for right or wrong, whatever you want to believe, brought that Beth song. So even if he was just the instigator to getting it made or done, that's still a major contribution when you look back and you think of like, top 10 hits, things that help propel them into the next level, things like that. So if you just took those two things alone, that's a major contribution to that band.
Yeah,
I agree.
Ace did nothing.
He did nothing.
Well, there's that lick, because that Parasite is an Ace Frehley song, right?
Yes.
That guitar lick to this day, I still think could hold up. I think it would be in the top, 100 at least of guitar licks. That it's really badass.
And Ace has cult status more so than I think any of them really.
God.
Yeah, he's got. I think he's got more clout in the rock and roll community.
I saw. I don't know. Maybe Kevin, you did too. I mean, I saw Ace Frehley when he toured behind. I think it was Anomaly, or maybe the tour before that. And
I did. It was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought he was amazing. Actually, Gene was there. He was actually he was at the show, but I thought he sounded great. I thought he was definitely closer to the Kiss vibe than I went and saw Paul Stanley when he did the Live to Win thing. And it was good, but it was just very neat.
I love that. I didn't get to see that live, but I mean, love that album.
Yeah,
love that band.
Great record. No, it is, and he sounded great. And the set list was phenomenal, and he sounded good. The band was just insane, but it was just very different. The Ace Frehley was looser and just more rock and roll, and
for sure.
You know what? Like when you said that, Scott, even the newest Ace Frehley solo album, he is true to a sound.
Yeah.
Like know that's that guy. Yeah, like when you hear those guitar licks and you hear that, it's so specifically him. But when you even hear Paul Stanley, like some of those Kiss songs, they're so produced, and it doesn't feel like there's an identity as much. But Ace's music, definitely there's an identity there.
Yeah,
because I always felt like Paul and maybe Gene. I don't really know like his. I kind of know his taste, but it seems like Paul more followed trends, and it's probably also why Kiss, sustained as long as they did. But it seems like he would model like a song or album, or like Kiss, like this is this year, or this is this album, based on like a movement, like okay, this is hair metal, because like they definitely adapted, to like specific sounds that weren't necessarily Kiss. Like it was filtered through Kiss, but it wasn't necessarily Kiss. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that's always the thing that like the early. I think that's why I like the early Kiss the most, because they still were doing stuff like that. Like Hard Luck Woman was obviously like they were trying to be,
more pop, maybe.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah. But it still felt more Kiss to me. Like even when they were filtering it through that stuff, or when they would cover tunes and stuff like that. Anyways, that's my 2 cents with just the styles. And I think Ace to this day, like even his stuff, it sounds like the Ace of 1970s. Like it could be that same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a very definitive kind of style about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it was like one of the most interesting parts of the book that it's I don't know, that like stayed with me because it is a good book, even though
It is very good.
Paul is a really unlikable narrator. But when he talks about LA, like when they first broke in and how big of a music scene it was,
Yeah.
and how like it's so different now. Like I like hearing stories from that era and hearing about like how music centric LA was. And
Yeah.
even just like, you know, the radio was really big then.
Yeah.
And how it was this hub of like, he said, like, yeah, the billboards had pictures of bands and stuff on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's,
Very
it's
different.
so different now.
Yeah. Oh God.
Well, Scott, you played the LA clubs in like late 70s, early 80s, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the weekends, Taylor. It was nuts. Friday night, Saturday night. It's a strip. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big hair. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
It sounded awesome.
The whole hang. Yeah. You know, the whole thing.
Hey, I think what we ought to do for a future thing is show pictures of all of us from the 70s and 80s.
Oh, I will.
Taylor, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Old band pictures.
My feathered hair down on my shoulders. Yeah.
Some TKO pictures. There you go.
We should find those.
And then we'll Photoshop Taylor with like some kind of 80s hair, big hair, tease it up.
I have a picture of myself as a toddler wearing an afro wig.
There we go.
Close enough. Close enough.
We just got a super chat from TC. Thank you, TC. Super chats, of course, when people donate and their chat gets bumped to the top for $24.99.
Well, thank you so much.
Merry Christmas. You are awesome. Keep up the great work. Now I'm just going to keep writing until I run out of characters, so I'm going to get my money's worth. I hope you don't mind. Great show today.
Awesome.
Thank you,
TC.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.
TC. Okay, well, we went an hour and a half. So, Taylor, we did get to cover the Paul Stanley book. That's cool.
I'm sure we'll talk about it more in and out because I feel like I mention it every single Kiss Corner because there's a story behind all these songs and stuff.
No, they're great. It's a great read.
Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say it was a show just jam packed with lots of content,
Kiss-tory.
lots of good history and back and forth, and great show.
Kiss tidbits. You know what we could do is try to find where the four of them talk about one moment in time.
That's a good idea.
We could see how each one's perception of it is uniquely different.
Well, that is a good idea. Take one incident, from each of the book, where they all have their account of what happened.
Yeah,
I'll put some research into that for sure.
Well, okay. What usually works good as a parting shot is you guys want to brainstorm about the next Kiss Corner, what we should do?
I had an idea.
Okay.
I think an interesting topic, maybe or maybe not, would be about people that they brought into the fold, whether it be for songwriting or other musicians that maybe played on that came into the Kiss fold through recordings or.
Well, didn't we already do a show like that where we had all the alternate Kiss, the Kulicks and?
But you mean like Van Halen and stuff, right?
Behind the scenes, like Dick Wagner that played on, but of course never played with Kiss. But
yeah, we covered that, Scott. Yeah, we talked about Dick. Yeah.
Okay. There goes my idea.
No, we can do a take on it. Because didn't we talked about Anton and all those guys?
Okay, that's exactly it. Yeah, one guy I didn't mention I had forgotten was Derek Sherinian had played keys on the tour for Revenge. I didn't know. I'd spaced about that, so I forgot.
Well, you guys feel free to nix this. What about your idea, Scott? But then we do who was influenced by Kiss.
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
bands that were directly influenced, and then we can find out like maybe we can do our top bands or whatever, or just do a round robin discussion, and we can all talk about like bands that were definitely influenced, or bands such as like Van Halen and stuff like that were kind of discovered by
Kiss,
members of
members of
Kiss.
Kiss. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
New England. Yeah, Van Halen. Yeah.
Drawkin says we should get Paul Stanley on and then ask him about how Ace did nothing.
That
Yeah, and then we can definitely grill Paul and just go, no, how about this? How about this? How about this? Hey man, the guy played so fast, smoke came out of his guitar.
literally smoke.
I mean, come on. Like that's a major contribution.
Come on.
You know what? I've never seen anybody play that fast that smoke just came out of their guitar.
So fast.
That's crazy.
You know what I would like to talk about in the future is I need to clear my throat, but I want to talk about the best and worst merchandise at some point.
Oh,
Ooh, that's a good one.
lots of them.
Because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin, you got one, and then we can in our chat later we can talk about this and narrow it all down.
Man, I actually really, really, really like Taylor's idea.
About the merch?
I mean, about the merchandise, the best.
Great.
Man, that could be a multiple show.
There's tons of stuff. Yeah.
You know why, Kevin? Because Kevin was responsible for some of the coolest Kiss merchandise of all time. The Kiss Psycho Circus comics.
Yeah.
Well, now that you mention that.
You know, something near and dear to my heart. Yeah.
I can finally do my unboxing. It's been sitting in my Christmas present.
Oh, you got that's right. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so if you guys don't mind, you want to just agree on this because we need to unbox that stuff, Taylor.
I know.
You haven't seen them yet?
No. Watch, I'm going to open it. There's nothing in there. This is just an old Will Smith CD. What is going on?
Oh, no.
So for you guys that haven't been listening, gosh, how long have you been holding on to this box for, Taylor?
Weeks.
Okay, so Taylor is so enamored with Kevin and Kevin's artwork on Psycho Circus. She bought a bunch of the trades, and so she had them sent to her house, and she wanted to do this as an unboxing live on Kiss Corner. And yeah, for whatever reason, it hasn't happened yet, and they're still boxed up in Taylor's house.
They are. Comic Book Bob says we should do a show on the Kiss comics exclusively.
Okay.
Oh.
And let's see. TC says, will you be covering the wrestling Kiss demon from the late 1990s?
Oh, that's right. I watched that live. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know what the guy's name was, the actual wrestler, but yeah, the demon.
Well, that could be one of the influences.
A merch or a merch thing, yeah, or something.
Or reaching influences, you know, how they not only just reached, other bands, but maybe even the zeitgeist of the world, you know, like people who've been inspired to do things in the name of Kiss.
Yeah, we could each present something that we think has been influenced.
Yeah. But the merchandising, I think, if you guys agree, we should do that the next one.
Because there's so many things. Yeah.
Down.
That's huge.
And we'll start with Taylor's unboxing.
There you go.
I'm totally down for it. Maybe we'll hit 50K by then.
Ooh.
Oh.
That'd be cool. That'll be a reason to unbox those books.
Then I can put on the makeup.
Whoa!
Oh, that's right. I forgot. How did I not forget?
Makeup.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys, we're only like $2,000 away from Taylor putting on that Kiss.
We're close.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, right.
Okay. Well, we'll make it an unboxing and unmasking of Taylor.
If we hit 50K.
Yeah, we have to hit that 50K.
But the unboxing for sure.
And we'll start with all of Kevin's Psycho Circus merchandise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kiss versus the Insane Clown Posse, says Durakin.
Oh, the Insane Clown Posse. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that once we go down that rabbit hole, there's going to be a ton of stuff that these guys have influenced.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. That'll be an interesting one for sure.
Okay, but we'll do the unboxing and the merchandise one first.
So tune in next. Let's do our top best. Let's do best and worst. We'll pick a best and worst Kiss merchandise.
Okay. All right. Well,
like
hey,
I like it.
Kevin gives it a thumbs up. So.
I love it.
Okay. Well, hey, do you guys have any parting shots? Any place you want people to check out? Any things like that?
No, I mean, Christmas around the corner, and just glad to have some time off from work and do some recording. And I got to work on a Kiss Corner. I'm still working on a theme song for the show.
Yes.
We should put some kind of video together, so I don't have to do this.
Talk to somebody about that. An animation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we can put an intro, autoplay it. Before the stream starts.
I'm sure that wouldn't be hard. Yeah.
Scott's got to find somebody with a big deep voice. Kiss
Corner. Deep voice. Yeah. Oh, I do. No, I do. Yeah, I talked to someone about.
From the four corners of the internet, this is Kiss Corner with Scott, Kevin, Art, and always Taylor.
And then you just hear Ace going, ah!
Yeah. I'm just laughing. That
extra echo.
Yeah. Just that laugh,
yeah. Into 2019, man. This show's gonna get huge. We're gonna get some production values.
That's our goal.
I love it.
You wanted the best, you're gonna get the best.
So everybody, check out the usual links in the description. You can find Kevin Conrad's art. You can find Scott Palacios SMP Media. And of course, you can find our indie comic, Art's original creation from the 90s, Remastered, black and white remastered, which is still on Indiegogo, still in demand for the remainder of this month.
And we need to get to that 50K so Taylor can put the Kiss makeup on.
No.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Nothing less, right?
Well, my parting shot to all my Kiss Corner mates here and the world that's listening at large, have yourself a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and be safe. And yeah, we're 4 days away.
Yeah, I know, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
No. The same. I just, happy holidays to everybody, and I really enjoyed doing this.
Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas.
Oh, you stole it from me.
Merry Christmas.
I kept hearing you trying to chime in, and I was like, I'm going to beat him to it.
Yeah.
She did it.
Oh, well, there you go. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good Kiss Corner night. All right, you guys. Well, thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the super chat. You guys are awesome, and we're going to try to do this weekly. So we're gonna be back after Christmas. So so stay tuned, guys.
Awesome.
Enjoy it. Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Nobody puts Kiss in the corner.
Exactly.
See you guys.